guys, and welcome to Katie's Insight, where I give my insight on, chapstick! Not chapstick, but oh my gosh, that hurt. Hold on. Okay, do you guys ever get that where your mouth gets dry in the winter and then like you have the corners of your mouth get little cracks, little painful butt cracks in them? Little butt cracks on my face. Because that's professional. I give my insight on facial butt cracks. That's what I do here. And I show off chat. I mean, there's nothing to show off here. I think this is just from the dollar store or the gas station. Because that's how I roll. Super elegant. Hi, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a good day. We are going to be diving into some stimulus. And we are wearing rainbow shirts, which I'm going to get into because it's very exciting. I'm so sorry. I'm always forgetting this, so I have to add this in here. Guys, giving away $100 gift card. Very simple. If you want one, this is all you have to do. Like every video you see, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, share the content, boom. You're eligible. That's all you have to do. Make sure and do it for every video you see. And guys, the more comments you leave, the more chances you have of winning. You leave 200 comments, 200 times higher chance you're going to be able to get a gift card. Also, guys, find me on Facebook, Katie's Insight. Like the page, join the group. Katie's Corner will be changed to Katie's Insight soon. We're helping people on a more one-on-one basis find stimulus money and stimulus help in your area. From our moderator, always give her love, British Gray and Alice. So make sure and go there, and we would love to help you out. Okay, on with the video. I'm going to shut up, but I just like to give you guys resources to help and money possibly to help, and it helps me too, and we're all helping each other. Okay, on with the video. Let me start off because you all are the most wonderful, observant people. I can't blame you. It's the internet, and you're just seeing a 40-minute video of me rambling. Yeah, you're probably going to be looking around and picking apart at what this thing is doing and looking like. I don't blame you. I would too. I am so grateful for all of you. Couple things. I just woke up. So if my voice sounds a little more manly, that's probably why. I've also been filming and over talking a little bit. So if I sound a little less chipmunk, this is fantastic for your ears. Also, this is yesterday's hair. So if it looks a little thin or a little flat, that is why. Just a heads up. That's okay though. We're going to rock it. And we're going to talk about stimulus. So I have some very, very good news when it comes to the stimulus, and I have, I think, some takes on it and some other pieces of news to put in place with what I'm going to tell you that's going to start making more sense as to where things are going. I kind of want to stop calling this stimulus, and I want to call it what I would consider a redirection of wealth. I don't know. I could be wrong. This could just be my blank theories, but remember what I told you guys. I look for the signs and the signals, and then I wait to see if enough start to line up one with another, and if I start seeing a direction or a path form. And as I've said, I'm an optimistic, idealistic realist. I'll show you guys the reality of the situation, but the paths forward that could be taken, and the ones that are starting to be forged. And I feel like slowly I'm seeing these pieces come into play. And a part of me is wondering if stimulus isn't being stalled because maybe there is some bigger plan for some type of financial global wealth reset. Now, typically, if you hear the word reset, it's not of a good connotation. I'm talking about something that would be of benefit for everybody. I don't know if that's the case. I'm not saying that's going to happen. You guys just know I sit here and I just brain dump and I vomit all over you what I think, but at least hopefully it's going to come out with rainbows and sparkles. So even though it's kind of gross, it's still a little bit pretty and pleasing. That and the turd cake. Why do you guys let me do this? Why? I'm wearing a rainbow shirt and you're letting me gross me and you out. So we're going to go ahead and get into that, but I do want to show you guys something very exciting. First of all, I have two new co-hosts today. And they are Victoria's Secret Pure Seduction Decadent and Victoria's Secret Glittering Iris. I had a gift card. I was going to say a free gift card, but I think gift card means free money. And I was able to get these. Oh my gosh, it smells so good and bad in here. I love it. I'm just swimming in how good this stuff smells. The second thing, okay, very, very exciting because I know this is very important to the news. So I always like to tell you guys when I get something new and you guys see me in the same stuff over the time, you probably already know if something's new. Brand new. So the other day, you guys know I've had to take a couple days off because of internet issues. I am praying it's getting fixed today. It's all going to depend on whether or not Cox Cable actually wants to send people out who do want to fix it. Don't you hate that? Sound off in the comments. Have you had issues with like your internet or your cable company when you have an issue with your internet or cable and it can take weeks to get solved because they just keep sending people who don't want to fix it and they give you BS answers or they don't check or the equipment's broken. Let me schedule another week and another week and another week. And that's kind of what we're going through with this household. And it's very frustrating because I'm like, I can't do this job and have it take 14 hours to upload a video if I'm lucky. And that's what's happening. So I have to do breaking news a day in advance, which is super fun for you guys. But, so during this time off, so Bath and Body Work, I am this person. I know when their new stuff comes out. And so if I have the time, I'm like, hey, let's go smell around. Problem is, I'm in Oklahoma, and in Oklahoma, we get everything last if we get anything at all. I mean, yes, we do get most things, we get some things, but a lot of things we don't get because this is an area of the country not a ton of people are in. So as a result, I went up there, they didn't have the new stuff, but then they had a Victoria's Secret outlet. Not a Victoria's Secret outlet. To my ladies, sound off if you know what that means. I went in there, I found this, $5. I found it in a medium and an extra small, and I got both. You might think, why get an extra small? This isn't an extra small, you're right. But hopefully I'm on the path to getting my body back to where I was. At some point, I'll do a video of like before and afters of what my body was previously, where it got to where it is now so you guys can see. But I used to be like super, super small before I got sick. We're talking like 105 pound little thing. And I loved it. I loved being small. I also, I love all bodies, right? So no disrespect. And at this point, I think, especially for women, science does not understand our bodies, does not understand weight loss. Everything we know of weight loss is tailored to men's health for the most part, and even that has some flaws and some character attributes and things that are incorrect. People also don't talk a lot about how your health is tied to, your weight is tied to your hormones, it's tied to your health, it's tied to your thyroid, it's tied to inflammation, it's tied to chronic illness and issues and IBS and stomach issues. There's just like, there's just like a host of things that this is all tied into. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say that, but I wanted to show off my shirt. Okay, check this out. First of all, you have to forgive me. This bra, if you see a little bit of like boobage popping out, it is not intentional. I'm in that weird in-between phase of in-between sizes with bras, if that makes sense. Like 10 more pounds and this will fit perfectly. But the bra that I have the size up is just hanging off me and looks ridiculous. But check this out, look. Look at this. Y'all see it? I never show y'all my body ever because that's not what we're focused on this channel. And if that's something that you enjoy, you're focused on, more power to you. At this point, we got to make our money and help feed our kids any way we can. But I love this because it's rainbow. And the other one starts at like yellow pinks and goes down to the oranges and the blues and the purples. This is probably my favorite color scheme. I love anything rainbow, but more importantly, I love like the, I love the, what do they call it? The pastel colors. And I love stuff that looks like a sunset. So I feel like a sunset and it was only $5. And that made me so happy. So I was like, okay, one more rainbow shirt, one more for the road. So yeah, we smell good. We got the new co-host. We got a new shirt. Boobs are almost in my bra. Let's talk about stimulus. Now, with all that being said, because that was super, super exciting for you guys, where are we at with stimulus? What's happening? Okay, so as you guys know, we have some weird movements. First of all, which I'll get into this later, McConnell and Mnuchin are coming together and they are going to try to get stimulus passed in flipping December. In December. So we're going to talk about that and see what is actually the reality of that and how far could that go. Now, what does that mean when it comes to stimulus and what's that mean when it comes to Mnuchin and company and what are they doing? So let's go ahead and get into that. If you didn't see my videos from yesterday, make sure and go check out. Sorry, I'm getting really itchy. So if you see me like wiggling around like I'm a mental patient, like I'm wearing a straitjacket or something, I'm getting itchy everywhere. Maybe I should have washed his shirt before I wore it. Rona fail. So what was I talking about? Stimulus. Oh, okay, Mnuchin. So if you guys saw my videos from yesterday, and if you didn't, go check those out. I'll have links in the description or I'll have links in the cards up here so you can look at them. I detailed exactly what was going on with Mnuchin. Mnuchin made what? It's weird. These shouldn't be surprise moves, but they look like surprise moves to everybody else. He made some quote unquote surprise moves when it comes to stimulus. Now, what am I talking about? What am I referring to these surprise moves? So what I'm referring to is this. So Mnuchin went ahead and he's been talking to the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, right? So Mnuchin is the Treasury Secretary. Jerome Powell is the Federal Reserve. He's the chairman of the Federal Reserve. They have been working in private for quite some time when it comes to, everything in general, but especially with stimulus over the last year. And so there were several programs that were set up by the Treasury to give money to the Fed to help the economy. But almost all these programs have failed. They have failed spectacularly and miserably. There's like 5 programs. And one of the big ones, which we've talked a lot about, is the Main Street lending program. It's supposed to help small to mid-sized businesses, but they keep getting rejected, and really it's just really cheap bailout money for the big corporations and the rich. You know, because that's what we cater to in America. And what's frustrating is the kind, tolerant, loving left wants everybody to, they want to turn this country into somewhat of a socialist place, which, by the way, I'm not necessarily knocking socialism. I've lived in France. France is democratic socialism. Socialism done right can be beautiful, but it's done right. That's the whole thing. And we also have socialist programs in this country. Social Security, Medicare. So it's not like, you know, so we have some forms of socialism. I'm always of the mindset we have to take the best from all worlds and see how they fit and see how we can implement them. So why don't we have a capitalist society, the best things of capitalism? However, we also are able to take elements of socialism to help people that desperately need help or that do need the help. Why can't we have a combination of both? That's how I always look at things. And that's why, as you guys know, I'm middle of the road in politics. I don't like any of these people. I just want to, I see the BS, I see the good and the bad and the BS. And I try to get together and say, okay, so what can we take from all these to make things better? Because all of this divide and conquer stuff is working and we don't get to get anywhere. So Mnuchin and Powell have been talking, and Steve Mnuchin is ending several, like there's 5 different programs he's ending from the Fed. And those, and when I say ending, he's not necessarily ending them. Here's the thing. Those programs expire on December 31st. Now, the mainstream media, and I'm talking all sides, even you Fox News. Like, I know people think I'm super, they'll be like, you just read something from Fox News, you're conservative. I'm like, I read from CNBC, I read from MSNBC, I read all kinds of articles from everywhere. I think a lot of people like me were frustrated at Fox News because Fox News, over the years, the recent years, has liked to tout itself as that they are for freedoms and against the big media, but then they did exactly what the big media did, and they called the election before you can really actually call an election. And it just looks weird because we know, and I have another video coming out about this, elections are in a place where they are still strange. We still don't fully know what's going to go on, and I have some predictions for that coming up, and I will go into those details, some breaking news on the elections. But not only are these programs ending, they're ending December 31st, 2020. Well, we're probably not going to have any bills anytime soon to get those programs back up and running unless Mnuchin and McConnell, which they're stepping up to do, can get something passed in December. May happen, may not, we don't know. I doubt it, but I will go into more detail about what's going on there. So, not only did he do all this, but then Mnuchin turns around and says to Jerome Powell, oh, and give us back the almost $600 billion. The number is somewhere between $500 to $600 billion in what we gave you, because it's just sitting there. It was supposed to go to helping people, and it didn't, like the Main Street Lending Program. Now, the mainstream media, like I said, they're going nuts because they're trying to talk about, they're talking about the Main Street Lending Program and how dare you take these programs away that are vital for the economy and helping people. They're helping small businesses. No, they aren't. No, they aren't. They're helping the rich get richer. The small business owners, like me, like you guys, we didn't get PPP or EIDL. And if we did, we got this much of it. And the programs have expired. That's what we have, unless we want to go to the SBA and see what other disaster loans and grants that we can possibly get, or see the different grants and the different things in our areas that we might be able to apply for. But I'm so tired of watching the mainstream, and they are attacking Mnuchin so hard, and it makes me question. Because as you know, and I've talked about this a lot when it comes to the election and when it comes to the mainstream media, I don't trust them. I will never trust them. They have lied too many times to us without apology, and they've done it not just with, oh, we made a mistake. They've done it with intent. And as a result, I will never get behind these people on any of the sides. And Mnuchin, I like Mnuchin. Out of all the characters I have to watch and I dissect for you guys, Mnuchin is the one I like the best. And I'll tell you why. I like Mnuchin more than anyone because he doesn't take a side, and every action I have seen, and now I've only studied stimulus, okay, the last year. So maybe there's stuff about him I don't know. Just going to throw that out there, disclaimer. But everything I've seen with stimulus, he seems like a straight shooter. You don't catch him lying. And he seems like every action, he's on the side of the American people and the public. Now, he doesn't have to do some of the things that he's done. For instance, being the Treasury Secretary, he doesn't have to go into these meetings with the White House to try to make things happen with the Democrats. And he's been doing that consistently. There are actions where he has gone above and beyond, above his job, above his pay grade to help us. And as far as they can tell, not just with his words, but his actions. Because remember, it has to be words and actions, or if anything, actions. Maybe your words are stupid, but your actions are great, which is why, to the perception of many people, that's why they like Trump, because that's how Trump appears to them. So that's how people are looking at this, and that's the information that we're weighing at the moment. And so Mnuchin is getting hammered, guys. He's getting hammered by the mainstream crappy media. And I'm like, why? And they're trying to say that what he's doing, it's going to sabotage Biden. And it's sabotaging him from having reserves in office. That's complete crap. And considering how much really legitimate stuff Biden and his family have been involved in financially, that's not me saying I'm left or right. I'm just presenting the facts as such. I don't know why they're so upset about $500 billion. I don't get it, especially because that money is supposed to be spent a certain way. That's CARES Act money that's supposed to be spent to help us. And funny enough, I broke this down yesterday. Mnuchin did an interview calling out the media. He's like, the media was really angry when I got that $500 billion to be able to help people with the CARES Act money. And they screamed that I'm just going to do whatever I want with it and I can't be trusted. He's like, well, now I'm doing exactly what the CARES Act was written to do. The law of the CARES Act, which says the programs expire and we need to get that money back. And getting that money back, it's not like he's just going on a spending spree. And if he does, y'all better believe a call out video is a coming. He is actually going and giving it back to Congress to be able to put in other programs to help us. One specifically he's talked in detail about is unemployment. So be on the lookout. It's either going to be a video earlier or I'll have it later. I'm going to detail how you guys might be getting help with unemployment in December, because I know those benefits are running out. He knows those benefits are running out for many people. And this isn't just the stimulus, guys, right? That $600 a week FPUC stimulus has been gone since like July and really more like September-ish because of that LWA, the executive orders that Trump signed. So that's been done and gone for quite some time. And we have been probably for the last October, November, we're coming up December, most people for at least, at the minimum, like two months, right? Month and a half, 2 months have gone without it. We're talking people, benefits across the board, like the extended benefits and people on the PUA. That will be done. That's going to be disastrous. And I don't understand why nobody is ringing more alarms about this in the mainstream media. You're getting mad at Mnuchin for trying to get money freed up to help that. So I look at this and I'm like, does the mainstream media, are they just is the American mainstream media, are they anti-American? Do they want our country to fail? I'm not saying that's the case, but let's be real. When I see them being angry at Mnuchin for doing what the law requires, a law that he helped write, and giving money to help people who are unemployed in a situation where we could have a complete economic disaster, does this make sense to anybody else? Does it make sense to anybody else? But this is the big hoopla. This is what's going on. This is what's being talked about. Aha. But here are the good pieces of news to this. There's a couple things that I want to go over. So the Fed was arguing whether or not they should do this, whether or not they should extend the programs, what they're going to do with the money. The Fed has relented. They are giving back the money. Fantastic. I want to go into detail with you guys on exactly what's going on here so you can see it. I have a billion tabs. You guys can't see my computer, and that's to my credit. I don't know if I should say that's to my credit, but that's good for me because y'all don't want to see this. Okay, guys. So let's dive in. It says from Politico. It says Powell agrees to return unused relief money to the Treasury at year's end. This is good news for us. Ow, I smiled too big. Hold on. Gotta grease my butt crack face. Okay, let's go. The emergency program will wind down after Mnuchin said they were no longer needed, triggering a rare public statement of disagreement from the central bank. And that's one thing, guys. This is a little bit unprecedented in the sense of, I know we keep hearing that word, it's unprecedented because we're in the time of the pandemic, of the virus. But this one, I feel like this is very, very interesting because typically we don't hear the Fed fighting with people or the Treasury fighting with people. And more importantly, we never hear them fighting with or locking horns themselves. Everything is done in private. So the fact that this is a very public situation is already very odd. So Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell on Friday agreed to return unused virus relief funds to the Treasury Department when its emergency lending program shut down at the end of the year, as requested by Secretary Steve Mnuchin. The emergency programs, which were set to expire December 31st unless extended, will wind down after Mnuchin said Thursday evening that they no longer needed, triggering a rare public statement from the central bank disagreeing with the move. The Fed and the Treasury have joint responsibility for designing and authorizing the programs, but it's not clear that the central bank was obligated to comply with Mnuchin's request to return the unused funds wired by his department to the central bank. Powell took no legal position on either that question or on Mnuchin's assertion that the CARES Act did not allow for new loans to be made using funding it authorized after the end of the year, a claim that is disputed by Democrats who have called for the programs to be extended and expanded. You have indicated that the limits of your authority do not permit the CARES Act facilities to make new loans or purchase new assets after December 31st, 2020, and you have requested that we return Treasury's excess capital in the CARES Act facility. Powell wrote in a letter to Mnuchin, "We will work out an arrangement with you for returning the unused portion of the funds allocated to the CARES Act facilities in connection with their year-end termination." A new Treasury Secretary appointed by Joe Biden when he becomes president could restart the emergency programs, but without the CARES Act funding, the overall lending capacity would be much smaller. Still, the Fed chief reiterated Mnuchin's point that any Treasury chief would be able to use other rainy day funds under the control of the department if the programs were resumed. Okay, so that's not a bad thing. So basically they were saying what, Mnuchin and both the Fed have said, okay, but we have other funds we can tap into if we need them for certain programs. So this is guys, this is very, very positive. Now, I want to go into this letter and then we're going to go into exactly what this means. So this is from Jerome Powell to Steve Mnuchin. This is very good. And it says, "Dear Mr. Secretary, like you, I am pleased with all that we have accomplished together this year. We rapidly put in place emergency lending facilities to support state and local governments, small and medium-sized businesses, and large employers. These were novel and complex programs that required us to work productively together. Our efforts helped to prevent severe disruption in the financial system and unlock trillions of dollars of private lending to households, businesses, and municipalities at a moment when the economy needed it most. The CARES Act assigned the Treasury Secretary sole authority to make certain investments in the Federal Reserve emergency lending facilities, subject to limits specified in that statute. You have indicated that the limits of your authority do not permit the CARES Act facilities to make new loans or purchase new assets after December 31st, 2020. And you have requested that we return the Treasury's excess capital in the CARES Act facilities. We will work out an arrangement with you for returning the unused portion of the funds allocated to the CARES Act facilities in connection with their year-end termination. As you noted in your letter, non-CARES Act funds remain in the Exchange Stabilization Funds and are, as always, available to the extent permitted by law to capitalize any Federal Reserve lending facilities that are needed to maintain financial stability and support in the economy. Sincerely, Jerome Powell. Let's read that last part again. As you noted in your letter, non-CARES Act funds remain in the Exchange Stabilization Fund and are, as always, available to the extent permitted by law to capitalize on any Federal Reserve lending facilities that are needed to maintain financial stability and support the economy. So again, what he's saying is, okay, if we have to, because of the way the CARES Act was written, I'll give back this money. However, if I need to get more money for different programs or things, there is what they call the Exchange Stabilization Fund. As long as it's within the legal limits and requirements, I can be able to do that. So guys, this is fantastic news. And if we look over again, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but if you look over that letter from Mnuchin to Powell, the first paragraph opens with, I want to talk about how great everything has been working with you guys. You guys have done a fantastic job. And then it goes into some of the minutia of, we gave you this much money for these programs, and we've worked closely with these, but these programs haven't worked the way that they needed to. And he then says, we have to do what the CARES Act says. Now, here's the thing that's really bothering me about the media, and this is where I'm going to go into some details about why I'm a little bit irked by this situation. So Mnuchin is coming at this specifically from the point of, this is how things were written per the CARES Act. Per the CARES Act, I am just following the law of what is written. And for some reason, the media is taking that and they are screaming that Mnuchin is taking away funds and trying to sabotage things for Joe Biden. Okay, let's look at this realistically. If this money was set aside for programs that A, are ending December 31st, B, doesn't look like an extension is coming anytime soon, and C, they weren't really helping people. Why is the mainstream media, I was gonna say lending program, that's the mainstream. Why is the mainstream media, why is the media so mad at Mnuchin for A, following the law of what was written, and B, for trying to help us, and C, what's this whole thing about Joe Biden? And this is where I feel like we are going to continue to start to see, because I've been seeing little signs of it. This is the first one that I really want to point out. I think we're going to see cracks in the Biden system. Now, what do I mean when I say that? When I say that, here's what I'm referring to. When it comes to Biden, I don't think the left feels very secure about him as president-elect, about the fact that they in the media pushed him into that position before things are actually done and set in place. So remember, this money is for programs that are supposed to help small businesses that it's not helping. Most small businesses at this point, you are lucky to be around. The majority have closed their doors long ago because of that PPP and the EIDL funding that didn't really do jack squat for anybody and didn't go far enough, and the programs weren't extended enough for people to be able to get, or if they did, they can only get it once, and there was no second round of it. Here's my question. Why is the media so upset about Mnuchin taking funds that are supposed to help the American people that aren't to go help the American people? And why are they saying this is going to hurt Joe Biden? Where's the logic? Where are the connectors into how this will hurt Joe Biden? This is what I'm not getting. How? They're saying, well, that's money and that's reserves for Joe Biden to be able to use. How? That was specific money for a specific thing. So how is it that Joe Biden and company feel entitled to get that money? Can somebody answer that for me? And this is where, to me, I look at this, and I'm going to tell you guys something, not because I want it to happen, not because I'm wishing it to happen, but this is where I wonder, are they really that secure with the fact that they put Joe Biden in office prematurely? Why would they be fighting? And then another thing, did you guys see this? There's a big hoopla about this. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are apparently, because remember I showed you guys Biden's website. Do you remember when I showed it to you about the funding and that they're still trying to accept funding even after he was president-elect? And I'm like, that's weird. Why is that? Doesn't that look kind of weird to anybody else? And people are like, well, maybe they forgot to take it down. I'm like, no, I don't think so. These people are calculated. Something's up. Turns out I was right. Now they're saying, please continue to donate because Trump won't do the transition that we need. So please keep giving us money so we can do this transition. They're wanting the American people to fund the transition on a presidency that is yet to actually be determined. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you lean left or right. That looks like some shady lady business. Those are some shady ladies doing some shady things. I'm not saying, and I can't say 100% that's what's happening. I'm saying that's what it looks like. Just from the level of common sense from somebody who doesn't have a dog in this race, who hates all of these people. Like I said, I like certain ones maybe more than others, but the main players at the top, I hate the evil that is Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell. Period. End of discussion. I do not like these people. So I don't like either of your parties, if you adhere to one. So that's where I find it really interesting. So Joe Biden is asking for more money in a situation where A, he probably doesn't need it, and B, not really appropriate. And C, he's now fighting, and he's on the media on his behalf to get money that's not even supposed to go to him. How does that work? So that's where I want to bring up some information for you guys when it comes to all this and when it comes to Joe Biden and why this could hurt Biden. Okay, so this is from Slate.com. I want to see if we can see the logic in this because I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be fair and understand this. It says, Steve Mnuchin is doing his part to sabotage the Biden administration on his way out the door because the Biden administration does not want Steve Mnuchin in that Treasury Secretary role. Okay, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. I'm going to try to be open-minded. Let's see what they have to say. It says, we can now add Steve Mnuchin to the list of Trump officials who are doing their part to undercut the next administration before moseying out the door. On Thursday evening, the Treasury Secretary announced that he would not agree to renew a series of lending efforts that the Federal Reserve began earlier this year in response to the virus crisis, a move that could hamstring the central bank's ability to stabilize the economy and financial markets if things get choppy again once President-elect Joe Biden is in office. That is not true. Those programs were not working to help anybody. Those programs were not really stabilizing the economy. It was other things going on. And per what Jerome Powell and both Steve Mnuchin said, if the Fed really needs more money to get things going, they have that stabilization fund that they can get into. So what we just, this right here from Slate, This paragraph I just read you is a lie from my perspective. Suffice to say, none of the explanations Mnuchin have offered for the decision makes much objective sense, which makes it hard to read it as anything other than an intentional act of sabotage. What would be there's no other way to read it? He says none of it makes objective sense. Well, first of all, none of y'all are objective. Let me get you straight there, because y'all are a little bit curved on what you think the word objective is and how you're trying to lie to the American public. You're saying that Mnuchin's, the explanations don't make objective sense and makes it hard to read it as anything other than the intentional act of sabotage. How? The Federal Reserve still has tons of funds they can get into if they need. Or is this just the fact that even though Biden and team likes, and I'm talking about the people at the top, like to parade around the kind, tolerant, loving left who are here for the little guy, or all rich people just sitting in the background trying to get richer. I'm not saying Republicans are any better. I'm saying they're all the same. Please understand what I'm saying there. Now, I'm not trying to attack the people who are watching that lean one way or the other. You find people, I bet if we all sat down, we could all come to certain types of understandings and agreements to some extent. I'm talking about the crazies at the top running the show, y'all, not y'all. So I want to make sure and come correct at you guys. So, again, suffice it to say, none of the explanations the Mnuchin has offered make sense, so it looks like sabotage. What would be sabotaging is not extending unemployment benefits and having that huge unemployment cliff come again and having disaster ensue. So he's trying to get money to the people who desperately need it because both sides have failed to do that, and it's sabotage to Biden. Are you kidding me? When Congress passed the CARES Act earlier this year, it set aside $454 billion to jumpstart a handful of emergency credit programs through the Fed, including one that allowed it to buy corporate debt. Through the magic of leverage and guarantees, the money was actually enough to support up to $4 trillion of lending, a giant rocket launcher of cash resting on the shoulders of Fed Chair Jerome Powell, parentheses. Many progressives bemoan this as corporate bailout portion of the law. And it is. That's what it's done. It's ended up helping big business and not small businesses. It says, at the time, debt markets were seized up as investors panicked over the accelerating pandemic. By promising to be a lender of the last resort for big companies, the Fed calmed Wall Street down, and pretty soon, credit began flowing again like normal, helping to prevent further economic catastrophe. And we heard Mnuchin on that interview I played the other day. This is so manipulative, guys. Mnuchin had said on that interview the other day, he was like, look, just the fact that we announced we were doing programs helped stabilize things. The programs themselves haven't really helped stabilize anything. And guys, I think I might save this article for another video because this one's really interesting and I want to really dive into some of the minutiae with it. But I have been looking over this and I don't see anything where they're saying that this could sabotage Biden. What I do see is I see them kind of, what I would say, speaking in fairy tales, that these programs helped stabilize the economy when they haven't. And provably, when you look at the math and the calculations, it's not these programs that are really helping anybody. Mnuchin's trying to get that money to give to people, to be able to help the people in places where there's more crisis, where it's more needed. I feel like instead of trying to write hit pieces on how awful Mnuchin is and how this is going to sabotage Biden, which it won't, you should be writing more pieces to urge your side of the government to get help for the unemployed. Guys, we could have had help from December, from September to the end of December. I think actually July to the end of December. Y'all could have still had that stimulus. Trump came and tried to make a deal with Pelosi on every which way to get that program extended. She said no. And I bet during all of that, Trump would have and could have on some level tried to help in that same notion be able to get the PUA and the extended benefits. Nope. So I get frustrated because the mean old Republicans, but Mnuchin is a Republican. Do you see what I'm saying, guys? It's stuff like this that gets my blank theories going. And I'm like, why are you guys so upset with something that wasn't working for people when you're not that upset with the things that are about to destroy people? And this is where I think that we don't have a fair press. And I think, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, I feel like stuff like this is exactly why you have so many people that voted for Trump. Yes, you've got some stupid, ignorant, backward people that vote for Trump, just like you do with the Democrats. Oh my gosh, sorry, that was loud. My computer was like, hey boo hey. So you have that on either side, but I think you also have a growing silent majority like me who's tired of stuff and seeing all these hit pieces and stuff that just actually objectively, reasonably don't make sense when you see their selective empathy on some things, it makes you question. I feel like you have no choice but to question what's going on and to question the motives. Unfortunately, again, I don't say these things because this is some ultimate secret one. I'm saying these things just based off of common flippin' sense in these situations. So where does this leave us with stimulus? Let me go into that. And where's everything going when it comes to stimulus? This is great news because what we are now hearing is that both Mnuchin and McConnell, they met, like I think it was Friday, and this week they are trying to meet with Pelosi and Schumer. Finally, this is great because our evil old curmudgeon McConnell hasn't done anything with any of these negotiated meetings. He hasn't done anything to go into these meetings and help people. But it looks like they are all going to go into these meetings. They're going to sit down and they're going to try to work something out before the end of the year, which would be fantastic because the holidays are coming and people are starting to get very scared because the holidays look like they could be crap for a lot of people. And it's just, you know, it's an unfair, I would say this, it's an unfair situation to everybody, but specifically children and the elderly. But once again, those are groups of people that we rarely actually care about in this society, as well as the disabled and the people who are chronically sick. But, you know, screw it to those people. It makes me so upset. They're trying to say, we need to help people who are chronically sick and help our, boo, none of y'all been, and I'm not even referring to you guys. I mean the people at the top. Quit acting like you care about any of us and like you're here for my best interest. You are not. All of you across the board are just special interests. But this is good news, guys, because this money going back, it frees up money to be able to get a bigger deal done quicker between both sides. So hopefully this will work out positive for us. Okay, guys, if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up, like our video, subscribe, hit notifications so you can be notified what's coming in the pipeline for you and your stimulus money. Also, sound off in the comments, y'all. Y'all know I want to hear everything. And guys, please share this content with anybody you know that's struggling or suffering right now. People who are on unemployment, waiting for unemployment stimulus checks, SBA loan and grant issues, and everything in between. I've got tons of tools and tons of resources to help you during this very difficult time, and I would love nothing more than to be able to help as many people as possible. And guys, the more you like, subscribe, comment, hit notifications, share the content, the more my channel grows, the more things I do to give back to you guys. For instance, our $100 gift card giveaway, and we're giving away a gift card today, so make sure and watch all the videos today to see if you won. Very simple. This is all you have to do to be entered to be eligible. Like every video you see, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, share the content, boom. You're entered, you're eligible. That's all you have to do. Do it for every video you see of mine, because the more you do, the more times you're entered. And guys, the more comments you leave, the more times you share, the more chance you have of being entered. If you leave 100 comments, 100 times more chance you're going to get a card. Guys, find me on Facebook, Katie's Insight, like the page, join the group, Katie's Corner. Will be changed to Katie's Insight soon. Go in there, ask all the stimulus questions you want. We are helping people every single day be able to find money in your area to help you through all of this difficult time. Okay, guys, I think I'll end this video here now. I love y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Take care. Blessings. I will see you guys soon. Hugs and kisses. And I'm so grateful to all of you. And I will work every day to try to do everything I can to help you guys. Mwah! Bye, guys.